Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second race of the season here with the brand new NR 2003 2021 NASCAR Cup Series season that we're bringing to you as usual, just like last time out. You got myself up here in the booth, and I am joined once again for the second straight week by Jay,
Heyo.
as well as Eddie.
Hello.
So tonight we have the Daytona Road Course. Second time we've come here this season already. If you guys remember back to last week, what was a race-filled week to say the least. We had quite the chaotic clash. Eddie was not there, but it was Jay and myself. And I mean, Jay, as you remember, we saw like a 10-car pileup that occurred there, and it was just a chaotic clash overall.
Definitely chaotic. There was the 10-car crash. There was a couple of one or two car incidents that caused cautions, and then the obviously pretty crazy pit strategies towards the end that eventually gave Kurt Busch the win. So it was certainly an interesting race the last time out with lots of different stories and lots of different craziness.
And since our last time out at the Daytona Oval for the 500, we've actually changed things up a bit now as you hear the command for the drivers to start their engines. I have updated the graphics in the game as well. We got a new ticker. We're going to experiment with tickers throughout the season, but we've also got a command to bring out cautions now so we can fully implement stages. And tonight the stages are going to be stage 1 ends at the end of lap 9. Stage 2 will complete at the end of lap 18, and then of course third and final stage will go to the end of lap 39. We've also added now, as you see the starting order on your screen, we'll go through the field, but we've also added now a kind of new way the cars drive. I guess Jay, you might be able to explain a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so this game has Cup physics, Xfinity physics, or what was Grand National Series physics at the time, Truck Series physics, and then I believe some sort of open wheel physics. So what we were running before was Cup physics, which was basically the physics of the Cup cars from 2003, which are a little bit less realistic to the way the cars run now. So I found a way to convert the cars over to the Truck Series mod, which runs a lot more like the cars do today. A lot closer racing. The speeds are a little bit lower. I'm not necessarily saying it's a good thing. We're going for more realism here. So we transferred that over, and so this time around the road course may not look really that much different. But as we go on to later in the seasons at ovals like Las Vegas and Atlanta and Kansas and tracks like that, we'll see a lot closer racing, a lot tighter racing, and probably a lot more mistakes and a lot bigger crashes.
Definitely going to be interesting. I've done a few test runs personally at tracks like Las Vegas. Can confirm it's quite the difference in racing. But we come to the road course here, Eddie. I mean, I'm sure we have an idea of who the favorite is.
I mean, yeah, we gotta look at the two guys, road course ringers. I mean, every week, Gary. I mean, Martin Truex Jr. in the 19, Chase Elliott in the 9. Chase Elliott being known as probably one of the better road course racers of these last couple of years as he's been in the Cup Series. But Truex has also been dominant. I'm also gonna look at the 11 of Denny Hamlin. Is he always as good at road courses? I'm also gonna look at the 22 of Joey Logano.
And what about you, Jay? Who are your favorites tonight?
Immediate favorite Chase Elliott, and then I'm going to give a dark horse favorite to Kevin Harvick. We obviously haven't seen him be dominant on road courses, but Kevin Harvick is a guy who the last couple of seasons has been dominant at everything. So it wouldn't surprise me to see him run well and maybe steal one away from Chase Elliott here.
9 wins last season for Harvick in the Cup Series. Missed out on the Final Four and an opportunity to become a two-time Cup Series champion, but he starts on the front row here today, along with the 2012 Cup Series champion Brian Keselowski. Honestly, a little bit surprised to see Keselowski up here on the front row, but of course, Kevin Harvick starting the season off strong. He did win the Daytona 500 last week in our 2003 series. So here he is looking to back that up with a road course victory now. But I mean, overall, just kind of hoping that these guys don't have quite as much chaos as last time out. We saw what a crazy race it was. But considering now that it's a point race, Jay, I mean, I would expect these guys are going to keep it a little bit more clean.
You would hope that they're, at least for the driver's sake, you'd hope they're going to keep it a bit more clean. But at the same time, these guys, some of them experiencing road course for the first time, maybe only their second time. Lots of things can happen. So it'll be interesting to see if it's a clean race or a wild race today.
And here we go. The pace car is off, and we're ready to take the green flag now as Brad Keselowski leads the field to the green here in the Daytona Road Course. Race number 2 of the season is underway here at the Daytona Road Course. Immediately, I see back there William Byron sneaking up the inside 3 wide, but it's pretty tame. Other than that, now Byron trying to make that 3 wide work. He's side by side with Buescher as well as Denny Hamlin. Now a little bit close quarters there, but they all keep it clean, thankfully. So just 2 by 2 throughout the rest of the field as we come towards the front. There you see Elliott there side by side. Kevin Harvick already down a few positions. He's down to P4 after a rough start there. Keselowski holds on over Kyle Larson right now, up in second place. Guys, you remember Eddie back in the Daytona 500? Larson, definitely one of the best cars, had an absolute heartbreaking moment where he got caught up in an incident where he got taken out by Joey Logano, and then he just kind of got held up by lap traffic a lot.
Yeah, I'm not really surprised with Kyle Larson being up in the front, Gary. I mean, they're carrying a lot of momentum from the 500. I think his confidence booster since coming back from everything has been a little bit of a chaotic cluster, as I would say. But I think the confidence he got from Daytona 500 really sparked the kind of season that this 5 team is going to have here in this season.
And I mean, of course, Larson in the comeback after being gone for the majority of last season up in this Hendrick Motorsports number 5 car. Now running in second place as they go down towards this bus stop. Always a very interesting part of the track. You got to nail this part here because Keselowski always has the opportunity to give up a tremendous amount of time to Larson. Like that, he goes through the grass a little bit. Of course, in real life now, they've actually put turtles where that kind of grassy area is to kind of keep the dirt from being an issue for this upcoming weekend in real life. But of course, we do not have that here in the NR2003 mod. Now, as you see the 21 of Mac DiBenedetto up the inside of the 24 of William Byron making a move there. But up front, actually, we got a move here potentially for the lead. Keselowski and Larson, they're right on the back of each other as there's actually some issues behind. We got a bit of an incident already. Kyle Busch, he's gone around, and there he gets the car back going. I'm interested to see if the caution is out or not here. It appears that
they are staying green.
Yes, we are staying green, surprisingly there. I saw the 18 kind of have a moment, but it really didn't seem too severe as Larson continues to now lead the way after passing Keselowski there at the end of this first and opening lap in Daytona for...
Yeah,
what were you going to say?
I just want to bring something up real quick, Gary. Since the last time that we ran the Clash year, it seems there's been some updates to how this track drives and how the drivers drive this track. And so where we saw drivers being on the outside in the first couple turns there in the 1 and 2 in the little kinks, that doesn't happen so badly anymore. Like the drivers don't slow down as much. They still do, but it's not as bad as it was. But the one thing I will notice, or the one thing we will notice this race, is on the front stretch chicane, drivers have a lot more tendency to use that exit curb a lot more, and they will bounce over it a lot. And then there's also a lot of drivers will lose control trying to slow down into the front straightaway chicane, and they will go spinning off towards the pit lane. So it'll be interesting to see if drivers make that mistake today or if they're able to keep it clean.
That's something we'll have to keep an eye on right there. Now, as we mentioned earlier, stages fully into effect this time out. We forgot to implement them straight up in the 500, but I still, at the end of the episode and actually at points in it, I did say what the stage results were. But now we're fully implementing them. We have a command to bring out a caution. We just have to go in game chat, very simple, and basically type in !yellow, and then we will have that at the end of lap 9, as well at the end of the 18th lap here. As you got the 23 of Bubba Wallace running just outside the top 10. I mean, Eddie, so far, I was kind of expecting better a little bit personally from this 23-11 team.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was expecting also the same kind of thing, Gary, with the JGR equipment possibly in there. But, I mean, Bubba Wallace ain't really known as the typical kind of road course ringer. I mean, we all seen his tweets and everything that he's not the best fan of turning left and right. But how about a very surprise lurking outside the top 10, Gary? The 99 of Daniel Suarez. I mean, not a bad run so far for this new team at Trackhouse.
No, yeah, 99 had another interesting 500 here in real life and in the NR 2003 series. If you remember, in the NR series that we're doing, Suarez actually had a moment on the pace lap, hit the wall, and found himself pretty much trapped a lap down for the whole race. And of course, which I just learned last week when we recorded, that NR does not have the lucky dogs because that was not a thing at this time in NASCAR. So he was stuck a lap down the whole race. But now here he is running right behind William Byron in that 12th position, like Jay mentioned. Definitely expecting some decent things out of a driver like Suarez here. He of course, is a very solid race car driver when it comes to road course racing. So, Eddie, do you think this is more of his road course experience coming in, or do you just think that he's got a good car underneath him?
I think this is more of his road course experience coming in, Gary. I think Daniel Suarez is known as the great road course ringer as he is. I mean, he's proven it in the Xfinity Series. He's proven it now since being in Cup. I mean, he hasn't been really Actually, I shouldn't say he hasn't been really, but he's been like lurking around like top 3, top 2 as we see a battle. Oh, as Chase Elliott just runs Joey Logano straight off the track. Well, that's
Logano,
some blood boiling right there. Interesting.
he rejoins with no issues there, but a bit of a moment between those two, the 2020 defending Cup Series champion against the 2018 Cup Series champion, who's now under attack from the 10 of Eric Almirola as they exit oval turns 4, heading down into that final chicane here. Is it could get interesting, but no, they keep it pretty calm now between those guys.
He missed the turn.
He did. That's not going to be a penalty, of course, in NR. So he will be able to continue on his way now as he rejoins. So a bit of a moment there between the 22 and the 9. Now, as you see, Suarez actually losing one spot to the 17 of Chris Busch. He drops down to P13 now. As you can see, we have a brand new ticker for this episode here, the Fox ticker. Let us know kind of what you would like to see. We're going to change it up here and there until we really find something that we like. As you got the rookie of Anthony Alfredo Newman going a little bit sideways there, but a little bit down further in the field. But look at Kyle Busch here actually running behind Alex Bowman. I mean, Jay, Kyle Busch down in P20, not having a very good run so far.
I believe ever since that initial contact, or not, excuse me, I believe ever since that contact that he had on the front straightaway coming out of the chicane with whatever car he made contact with, because I don't quite recall, I believe he's been falling down the water ever since then. So we can only assume that that potentially has some kind of issue with somebody's way in the dirt. Cindric is way in the dirt up there. So it seems like Kyle Busch is definitely having more issues than just a little bit of contact coming onto the front straightaway.
Not the day he was looking for so far now, as we will get a replay of that incident that Kyle had at the end of lap 1 in a little bit. There, as you saw, Cindric actually go off track. Another rookie in the field will not be starting every race this season, especially now with NR. We can implement that as well, as we have so many cars that we can use, and we only can actually have 37 cars in this race. That's all that this track supports here. In the mod now is the 23 of Bubba Wallace actually going to go a little bit wide there. It looks like he just downright went wide himself there after being side by side with Kurt Busch. He's going to rejoin the track behind the 18 of Kyle Busch, but definitely not the day so far that Bubba's looking for now, as you see the rest of the field we were talking about. Cindric, of course, not making every start this season, but I would definitely expect Eddie. I mean, at a track like this, I would expect Cindric to be up in the top 10, even contending for a top 5 as he actually goes over that curb.
Yeah, I mean, he's known in the Xfinity Series to be the same as Chase Elliott. He's a really good road course racer. I mean, I've noticed a lot, Gary, is going to that backstretch chicane back there, as we see a little bit of a checkup back there. I don't know what happened, but
something certainly happened there with maybe Bubba Wallace and Anthony Alfredo.
There's damage on the 42's front end.
Yeah.
Yes, there is.
But what I've noticed, Gary, is that a lot of the time on the backstretch chicane, you can't really go side by side in there. I mean, that's what I've noticed so far during this race. I mean, Joey Logano and Chase Elliott, and then we saw with Bubba Wallace and Kurt Busch. I mean,
out on track.
Oh.
Yep. Caution is out.
Something brought out the caution, and I'm going to guess it was that front straightaway chicane incident with Ross Chastain and potentially Bubba Wallace and others.
There you see the flagman waving the yellow flag. So caution is out here in the Daytona Road Course on just lap 5. I don't know. We might get restarted before the stage ends. We could be actually in store for a one-lap dash, but immediately I'm seeing damage on the back of the 7. We saw damage on the front of the 42. Kyle Busch has damage as well, but I think that might have been from lap... Oh, no. He's got a bunch of damage.
That's big damage.
Yeah.
That's big rear end and left side damage.
Things go from bad to worse for Kyle Busch. Chastain just in front of him with damage as well. So clearly something happened there in the midfield. But before we get an idea of what in the world just happened, we're going to make sure we get everything decided up front here. We also missed a pass for the lead, but we're going to be able to bring that to you guys to see what happened up at front as well. But I'm just curious to see if these guys are going to come in to pit before we show any of that. I mean, honestly, Jay, do you think they're going to come in this early in the race here?
If they're going to come into pit, they're not going to do it right this moment, because they're still racing back to the line before the caution comes out, officially is come out. So they're not going to pit here, but they may want to top off before the end of the stage. But it'd be surprising to see guys like Truex, Harvick, Kyle Larson, Keselowski, anybody really in the top 10 to come in and pit, because they don't want to lose that track position.
Right, stage points, of course, proven year after year to be extremely important here in the Cup Series. You see the pace car now rolling off, so the field is going to get collected, and we are going to go through to a very quick break here and come back and get all the replays from what just brought out the caution, the lap 1 incident with Kyle Busch as well as the pass for the lead. So we'll be right back here from the Daytona Road Course halfway through stage 1. And we're back here from Daytona Road Course now, as the reason for the caution was Kyle Busch, and you're going to see exactly right here. He just straight up made a mistake out of oval or out of turns one. Sorry, right there, overcorrects, slams into the concrete wall, and that was the reason for the caution. Nobody hits him here. Chastain has a very close call. Chastain already had some damage on the front end, but that was the reason for the caution. That also brings us to the opening lap for Kyle Busch. There was another incident you guys missed as well just before this, but we're going to show you the first lap incident involving Kyle Busch as well.
So as Kyle Busch and Chris Buescher are heading into the front straightaway chicane, Kyle Busch goes a little bit wide, and Buescher just straight up sends it in there and dumps him, I guess, on lap one. And no waiting around, I guess, from these guys already on the first lap. So unfortunate for Kyle Busch, he starts off with damage on lap one.
Yeah, I mean, he was able to escape relatively clean from that one now, but of course, it just got a lot worse from bringing out that first caution here in Daytona. But now we've also got a look at an incident involving Anthony Alfredo as well as Bubba Wallace in the number 23 car.
As we're on board here with the 23 of Bubba Wallace, as we notice in the background, Anthony Alfredo, I guess, just misjudged his braking zone and decided to use Bubba Wallace as his parking brake here, along collecting the 6 of Ryan Newman and the 42 of Ross Chastain, as Bubba Wallace is probably pretty heated about how the rookie has just treated him so far.
I think I would be there. Yeah, that was just a straight up rookie mistake, in my opinion, from the 38 of Anthony Alfredo. So that was not the reasoning for the caution. It was for Kyle Busch just a few moments later there, but some damage on the 23.
That looked to me like the issue that I brought up earlier, where the drivers seemed to just completely miss that front stretch chicane and go sliding towards the pit lane. That looked like exactly what Alfredo was doing. He just didn't slow down for the corner and started to spin himself out, and unfortunately, Bubba Wallace was in his way.
So Kyle Larson actually lost the lead while we were watching everything happen there in the midfield, and you see that he's got a little bit of pressure here on the exit of that final chicane coming through the trial to the line. Behind him, side by side for second with Truex and Keselowski right on his tail, but Truex actually just makes a move into turns one up the inside of Larson, just makes a very clean pass, makes it work now, and I'm going to, I guess, right here is where Larson probably lost another position or two. Yes, he did. He just kind of checks up right there, and Harvick goes by as well. So unfortunate there for Kyle Larson, losing the lead here early on just the fourth lap of the race so far here in Daytona. Back to the live scene here in Daytona. We're interested to see if anybody comes into the pit lane here or not. Maybe gives up some potential stage points. Truex up at the front here, but it appears no one is going to take that pit stop now, as you see. Oh, we got Kyle Busch, but of course, he's one of the damaged cars along with Ross Chastain joining him. Ryan Newman's got some damage as well from that incident with Bubba Wallace. And Anthony Alfredo, the 7, just barely got in. The 23 goes in as well. So kind of expected from those guys, but nobody elects to come in here to just straight up get tires and feel. Everybody really just coming in for some repairs. And from what we're hearing, it's going to be a one-lap dash here to decide the stage 1 victory. So we're going to cut back to break and come back here for the restart of the Daytona Road Course. And we are back here at the Daytona Road Course for the restart. It's actually going to be a 2-lap dash, not a 1-lap dash here for the stage 1 end. So William Byron currently rounds out the top 10, holding on to that last spot in the stage points paying positions, as Martin Truex Jr. gets ready to take the field back to the green flag here from P1 over second place right now of Kevin Harvick, as the green flag is back out in the air, and we are underway here for 2 laps to decide who gets the points here in this first opening stage. Immediately you see a move there from Eric Almirola going up the inside of the 9 of Chase Elliott. Elliott trying to get 5 consecutive wins here at road courses now. He had a moment earlier with Joey Logano. Now Logano's actually going to get past the 9 of Elliott. There's a little bit further back. William Byron a little bit closer with Daniel Suarez, but they continue to keep it going in the right direction. So it seems like everybody got through there pretty clean, but Suarez actually trying to put a little bit of pressure on the 24 of Byron, but Truex well off up in front as everybody keeps it clean. Here you see the 48 with some damage on that back bumper as well that he got a little bit earlier in that stack up in that final chicane. But you see a driver like Daniel Suarez, Jay, putting a lot of pressure on William Byron, continuing to impress, I think, here, and moving himself up towards the front.
He's certainly looked good so far, and he's just a position or two off of stage points. I believe William Byron is down in 11th or 12th right now. So Suarez eyeing a potential stage point or two here, as Ryan Blaney's trying to make a move on Matt DiBenedetto.
There you see him up the inside of that 21. DeBenedetto will not be in that car next season. The driver of the 33, just a handful of spots back, will actually be piloting that Ford Mustang there for Wood Brothers Racing next season. As we go to the bus stop here, going to get interesting. Truex leads the way. Harvick seems to close in a little bit. Truex actually through the dirt. Keselowski a little bit wide there. The 9 car of Chase Elliott right behind him. But they keep it clean now, as you see in the back. Actually, we got 1 car off in the distance. That's the 17 of Chris Buescher, but it looks like they kept it all clean now. As Suarez right on the back of that 24 here, as this could get interesting right here between Keselowski, Elliott, and Hamlin as we go into the final chicane. They are going to be very close quarters there, but it looks like the 9 and the 11 come together a little bit actually, but they do keep it clean fortunately now here as we come through to start the final lap. But Eddie, we've seen Elliott already have a few run-ins like with drivers like the 22 of Joey Logano and just now the 11 of Hamlin, but fortunately do you think that's really actually going to affect his car as this race goes on?
I mean, maybe we may have see a little bit of a tire rub possibly on the 9 car, but I don't think it's going to be anything too extreme for him, Gary. But what I have noticed is these guys are not very passive with each other right now. There are a lot of aggressive moves being made, even on the restarts and in general on the racetrack here. But I'm pretty interesting to see how this goes as we hit the final lap of the stage, Gary.
Yeah, they're keeping it calm. You know, we don't want to be ended up having big incidents. Anyone ending up in any water barrels or something on a pit entrance. Now is at 24. Well, you know, Byron puts the pressure on the back of the 21 of Matt DiBenedetto, and that is for the last stage point right now. DiBenedetto in P10, holding on to that last stage point. So this is the race we're really watching. Suarez in the mix behind the 41 and the 3 actually just went off the course. They keep it going, fortunately, now, as there you see that battle. But up at the front, right here, you got the number 19 of Truex driving away Jay. I mean, the 19 of Truex making a statement here early on, as clearly building up a gap between himself and the field.
It's not surprising at all to see Truex doing this. We've seen him dominate road courses, and he was a dominant guy on them before Chase Elliott came in. As it looks like there's some very big damage there from Cody Ware, and I think also very big damage on the 18. The 18's hood looked like it was popped way up in the air. So obviously something has happened here in the back of the field.
We'll get that at the end of the stage. There's a race for the last spot right there with the 21. Actually, a good gap now between him and the 24 as we head down to this final chicane here. As the caution lights are on, but it's still a race back to the line because you see the 18 with all that damage, but the 19 of Truex, he is going to come through out of that actual chicane. Hang on over Harvick here as they come through to the line. They keep it clean behind them. So Truex wins stage 1, and the 21 of Matt DiBenedetto will come through to get that final stage point here in the first and opening stage at the Daytona road course. But interesting to see what in the world has happened. The caution's already out, so we don't even have to deploy the caution ourselves. But like I said, we're going to get a look there at the top 10. It goes Martin Truex Jr., Kevin Harvick, Kyle Larson, the number 10 of Eric Almirola, Joey Logano rounds out your top 5, Brad Keselowski, Chase Elliott in P7, and then we got Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, Matt DiBenedetto rounding out your top 10 here in stage 1. But Eddie, I mean, Elliott down there in P7, honestly, a bit of a surprise to myself here. What about you?
Yeah, a little bit of a surprise here, Gary. I think track position is very key here off the start. I think that's what's really playing in the favor here right now, as you see the 19, the 4, the 5, and the 10 all playing in key right now. But I think it's just really track position right now for this whole race right now, Gary.
Yeah, I mean, we were emphasizing earlier, it seems to be a little bit tough to pass, or at least drivers not really putting it all out on the line right now. Of course, a lot of racing to go still here at Daytona, but at the end of stage 1, or now that stage 1 is concluded, once again, we're going to go into a quick break, come back, get you a look at what in the world happened with Kyle Busch as well as Corey LaJoie as we get ready to go green for the start of stage 2 here from the Daytona road course for the second race of the season. And we're back here at Daytona road course. Just before the break, we had that caution come out. It was for Kyle Busch, who actually goes crashing into the barrier there. Cody Ware went off, but Kyle head on into the barrier, and that's going to be the end of his day for the caution. So that's 3 different incidents we've seen from that 18 car. I mean, Eddie, a terrible day so far for Kyle Busch, of course, now with his race being over.
Yeah, it looks like 2020 is carrying over to 2021 for Kyle Busch here. I don't know what else the Candy Man can do, but I think he's just going to be able to watch the race from his pit road here for the rest of the race, Gary.
So Corey LaJoie having virtually the same issue as Kyle Busch. He's here with Kaz Grala going too wide into the bus stop, makes a little bit of contact, goes down into the chicane, and just straight up loses it and goes into the tire barrier. And his day also is potentially done as his car is demolished.
Absolutely destroyed there for the 7 of LaJoie. Gets worse for him as well. now, as that was what, one lap or so after Kyle Busch's incident here in Daytona. So a wacky end to the first stage, to say the least. Back to the live scene here at Daytona Road Course. Interesting to see if they're going to pit or not here at the end of stage one. Once again, Eddie, nobody coming into the pit lane.
Yeah, it's very surprising here, Gary. I mean, I don't understand what the strategy is here, but I think they're probably going to try to wait it out as we see one car, Joey Gase coming down. I don't think that's
Cody
really
Ware.
going to. Oh, Cody Ware, sorry, but yeah, I don't think that's really going to pull much for all these drivers. But I think they're going to probably try to split the stage in half, or at least wait till the end of the stage here coming up.
So nobody coming into the pit lane here. Just Cody Ware for damage from the incident in the bus stop where Kyle Busch also got taken out in Busch, as well as LaJoy. Their days are completely over. So once again, we're going to go through into a quick break and come back for the start of stage two here at the Daytona Road Course. We're back from Daytona just in time for the restart here for the start of the second stage. The top 10 is the same as the stage end. So Martin Truex Jr. leads the field back to the green here for the start of stage two with Kevin Harvick down there in second place, Kyle Larson P3, Almirola fourth, Logano there in P5, kind of peeking his nose. But look, guys, there you got the 99 of Daniel Suarez actually making a look up the inside of the 21, makes it work so far. 2x2 there. They're going to keep it clean, I hope. Yes, they do. Daniel Suarez goes through. And there you see some still damage on the back of the 48 car. They have not repaired that damage. But you got the 11 of Denny Hamlin there losing that spot. Both him and De Benedetto lost that spot to Daniel Suarez in the 99. And Eddie, we've just continuously seen this 99 car move his way throughout the field so far.
Yeah, very consistent day for that 99 team and Team Trackhouse. I'm really excited to see what they do for the rest of the season. But as far as today goes, yeah, very big improvement for the 99 as it was not the best of weeks for them last week during speed weeks in the 500. Oh, as we see William Byron go off the track.
Saves it, fortunately. We've seen actually a handful of guys so far go off in that same location. Kind of like we're seeing drivers go off in the bus stop as well. When they go side by side, it hasn't been going very well, to say the least, as we saw Chase Elliott earlier get into it with Logano, Kyle Busch, of course, DNF'd, as well as Corey LaJoy. So Martin Truex Jr., though, leads down this back straightaway into the bus stop for the first time of the stage. I mean, Jay, Truex making a statement here. I mean, showing up, I guess, against drivers like Chase Elliott here. I mean, leading right now as we get going through into lap 12 of this race.
Yeah, Truex so far is certainly showing that he shouldn't be taken out of the discussion as a guy who can dominate on road courses as well. I believe if you calculate him and Chase Elliott's wins on road courses, I believe they've won the last, what was it, 9 road course races? I think that was the number being thrown around. That sounds a little bit high, but if I remember correctly, that sounds like the correct number being thrown around. Is that the caution lights on? No, it's
Nope.
not. So far, Truex showing that that he's definitely still got it at road courses, and he wants to continue to be the guy who wins all these races.
Oh, the caution lights are on.
It is the caution lights on.
Okay, so caution out on the track again here, as you see the pace car out. So what in the world just brought out that one? I think we found that. BJ McLeod has a bunch.
BJ McLeod's car is destroyed.
Mangled. Now is we already have a replay actually up of what in the world just caused that caution. My guess early on, bus stop. Just as suspected, same situation as Kyle Busch as well as Corey LaJoy. You see the 78 just loses it, and boom, into the barrier. That's going to be the end of the day for the 78 of BJ McLeod here in Daytona early on in the start of stage two. And we're back, in chaos ensued under caution when everybody was catching the pace car. Matt De Benedetto got turned after running into the back of the 11. Bowman turns him around. Tyler Reddick comes plowing into the scene, gets hit from behind from Cindric, the rookie, and Reddick has completely destroyed his car. Everybody actually did come and make pit stops here, by the way, as everyone's got 4 fresh tires, full fuel tanks, but you see the chaos right there. Jay, I think that's more chaotic than the race has been under green.
Yeah, that's certainly the biggest incident we've seen so far, and that was under yellow. I don't know what that was. I guess these guys can't figure out how to run pace laps, but obviously De Benedetto deciding to run into Hamlin and then slowing down enough for Bowman to just completely turn him, and then just chaos ensues. Bowman has pretty big damage now. Eric Jones, I believe, has damage. Kurt Busch got damage. De Benedetto got damage, and a whole host of other guys. So it's turn into chaos under pace laps here.
I mean, Eddie, I mean, what do you think about that incident? Do you think it's really more of a miscommunication and whatnot between some of the spotters and their drivers?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of miscommunication between the 48 and the 21 there. I guess the 21 was trying to figure out his spot in line, and the 48, I don't even know what happened, but I guess a lot of just confusion and clustered and people just not paying attention. It's just a very interesting day so far here at the Daytona Road Course.
And Tyler Reddick's, I mean, coming to the green flag this lap, he's still struggling. He's coming into the pit lane, it appears, right here. Past everybody, he's slowing up. He can't decide what he's doing. But my guess, he'll be coming to the pit lane here any moment now to call it an end of their day. So Martin Truex Jr. out in front. We're not even at the halfway point of this race yet, and we've seen quite the interesting race, at least compared to the class so far now, as we're going to get ready to take the green flag now here in the midway point of stage 2. So stage 2 comes to an end once we complete the 18th lap of this race. So Martin Truex Jr., of course, looks to pick up 2 stage victories to start this race as we're back underway here from the 15th lap. So 4 laps to go here in stage 2. As you see, sure enough, the 8 car of Reddick does come into the pit lane at the back there. So I'm going to guess that will be the end of his day. And look, Eddie, we got the 9 of Chase Elliott finally getting aggressive here, making a move into the top 5.
Yeah, the ninth finally starting to show a little bit of aggression here as may have been a little bit interesting back there between Larson and the 22, but yeah, the nine's starting to finally come to life, Gary, and this is something that I think everybody's been waiting to see finally happen.
Absolutely. I mean, pretty much, in my opinion, the clear favorite here today at Daytona, and now here he is up into 4th. He restarted P6, so I mean, Jay makes up 2 spots on that restart, putting himself in good position here for the end of the stage.
Yeah, he certainly wants to. Chase Elliott under that helmet wants to make a run for this and give Truex a run for his money and certainly try and win this stage. But one thing I'm looking at so far is Logano has been all over Larson since the restart, and here never mind, he's not taking it too wide down the oval. But it'll be interesting to see if Logano keeps being aggressive and trying to put all kinds of pressure on Larson, and if Larson can hold on and not make any kind of mistake.
And I want to quickly mention the 10 of Eric Almirola having a really good run here in the Daytona Road Course. Not a driver that I particularly think of when it comes to road course racing, but here he is actually under pressure from the 9 of Chase Elliott, making a move. Eddie, here he is going for P3 now. That 9 car showing that true pace in that car now.
Yeah, I guess Allen and the crew finally made the right adjustments for Chase to be comfortable here as the nine's really showing its strength out here. He's in the preferred position coming into the front stretch chicane as he's just going to try to force it down the inside of the 10 car. Hopefully they don't make any mistakes here. As Harvick goes off the course, off the last chicane as Chase Elliott will have the run here as the 1 car, for some reason, is coming down pit lane right now.
Not sure what that's
I don't know if you guys noticed, but Logano's front end was basically straight up into the air coming out of that chicane.
I noticed a wheelie.
He hit, but his nose was straight up towards the sky.
I definitely.
So, I would have to imagine that's some major under or suspension damage for that 22.
Visually, it looks okay, but I thought I was seeing things. I'm glad to know I have a backup because I thought I saw the bottom of that car for a second there. So Logano somehow continues going in the right direction. But we'll get a look at that once we can. You're probably at the end of the second stage. Daniel Suarez, guys.
Suarez,
yeah,
he's hard charging since this restart.
Up into P8 there in that iFly Camaro, backing, of course, from Pitbull with this brand new team, and showing Suarez what he can do on this track, given a good opportunity. There is a 2 car. He goes a little bit wide. We've seen that's kind of expected at this point, but he keeps it straight and going in the right direction. But, I mean, looking through the field, it looks like it's pretty calm now compared to what we've been seeing throughout this race. But Suarez continuing to move his way forwards, kind of like the 9 of Chase Elliott, who's just been climbing his way forwards, getting position after position here, just slowly but surely as Martin Truex Jr. continues to lead the way as we approach the final 2 laps already of this second stage. Look how fast they go through that bus stop now as Kevin Harvick tries to run down that 19 of Martin Truex Jr. And what we're going to do here for the end of stage 2 is we're going to bring the AMP segment from career mode into the NR series. So we're going to go amped here in NR 2003.
Caution is out, Gary. Something happened on the track, and there is a caution out on the speedway.
There you have it right there. That was not much of an amp segment. Caution has come out, and I think we found our culprit, boys. We have Zent the 52 of Josh Bilicki looking to have a lot of damage on the track. We were hoping for a better amp segment than that. It does not happen here. But you see Ryan Newman actually tailing the field. Kurt Busch could be in a really good position here later in this race, but we'll have to wait and see how things cycle out. But we're going to get a quick look at what just happened. But also, Eddie, look, we got the three of Austin Dillon with a bunch of
yeah, I think
damage.
we may have found where Josh Bilicki got his front end damage here from Gary, as Austin Dillon might have had some help getting run to the back of here.
On board with William Byron, actually, who ended up causing the caution with Austin Dillon. There you see, a big mistake there from the 24 of Byron, the 43 collected, as well as the 52 of Josh Bilicki got collected in, Anthony Alfredo as well. So the caution back out once again here in Daytona. Jay, it seems like as the laps go on, it gets crazier and crazier.
This 6 car flying by right there, as you say that, proves your point exactly. These guys gonna get into this race, and they start not having any. I mean, we already saw in the lap 1 they weren't having any patience, and even on the pace laps they're not having any patience. So these guys are trying to make big moves into that final chicane, and so far they aren't working. As Quinn Hoff, I don't know if you have an angle of it yet, but Quinn Hoff went into that chicane and full sent right behind that wreck and hopped over the curb, and probably gave himself some suspension damage. So these guys are just trying to full send that front stretch chicane, and it's not working.
There is the view right here from Quinn House, as Jay said, full sent it. He hops over the curves, goes for a slide. I mean, on the bright side, he missed the big impact there of what it could have been if he hit the other cars as he comes through back onto the course. But we also got a quick look at what happened with Joey Logano earlier when we thought it looked like he was pulling off some type of wheelie there in that final chicane. Here's the angle right here of Logano that we were mentioning there. This was the first lap of the restart. Right there, Logano goes for a bit of a hop. And Jay, you mentioned potential suspension damage. That was quite the impact there on that curve for Joey.
If there's no damage to the underside of that car, I would be shocked. He straight up just nailed those turtles and basically did a wheelie, which obviously these Cup cars are not designed to do that at all. So I'd be shocked if there's no toe damage, if there's no suspension damage, if everything is fine under that car.
And once again, we're going to go to a quick break here in Daytona, get you back in time for the restart, which will be maybe a 1 lap or 2 lap dash here once again to decide stage 2. And we're back here once again from Daytona Road Course. Stage 2 actually concluded as we're actually going green this time by, but Kevin Harvick got the Stage 2 victory because in NR2003, like the old rules, they raced it back to the line under caution, and that allowed Kevin Harvick to actually beat Martin Truex Jr. for the Stage 2 victory. So it's kind of weird how that works from the old rules back in the day, but either way, we get ready here to go green for the start of the third and final stage. Eddie, Chase Elliott there in P3. I mean, he's been consistently working his way up here. Do you think he's the favorite?
I mean, he has to be. It's got to be either him or Truex at this point. I mean, the man has been on a mission since the last restart, and I don't see how he doesn't get a really good restart here and sends it up to the front with Harvick.
What about you, Jay? You think Harvick's able to maybe even hold on and pull away here?
I don't think Harvick has a chance, honestly, against Truex or Chase Elliott here. We saw him get by on that caution lap, but I don't think there's any way that Truex keeps the lead here.
And we are back underway here for the start of the third and final stage here at the Daytona Road Course. Kevin Harvick, very calm restart up front there. Now, as you see into turns 1, Eric Almirola up the inside of the 9 of Chase Elliott. He's trying to make a move, and Elliott might be in that spot right there. That's really bad. Oh my God, Eddie, look at that. The progress the 9 has made. Gone right there. And just
that's disappointing.
Oh no, very unfortunate there for Elliott now. As you see, Larson got by him. The 10 got by him. So now Elliott down into 5th place here in stage 3. So he's going to have to really just work hard to make up all of that time. He's right on the back of his teammate of Larson. Side by side here between Denny Hamlin as well as Daniel Suarez. Into the right-hander now. Suarez maybe going to go wide. No, he's in good shape. Truex off the track up there in front of us now. As he's still in front of the 9 of Elliott, but behind now the 5 of Kyle Larson there as they get back on to the oval portion of the track as Elliott continues to try and fight his way back forwards there in front of that 12 of Ryan Blaney. But at the front, Harvick actually opens up a gap to second place that now belongs to Eric Almirola and Jay. Honestly, I don't think we could have really expected Eric Almirola to be up here in P2 here in the start of the third and final stage.
Almirola is not a guy that you expect to be P2 at an oval, much less a road course. I don't think we've ever seen Almirola really do anything or show anything promising on the road courses, but so far today he's looked really good.
Oh!
Chase Briscoe, victim of the back straightaway bus stop once again. Fourth guy to do it. This may bring out a caution again.
No caution.
Actually, no, it will not. So the track stays green, and he magically ports back to the pit road as Harvick is all over that curve. Oh, Kyle Larson gets taken out by
Oh,
boy.
Lots of damage for guys like Suarez, Cody
Ware. Huge crash.
Even more involved in the back.
This is the whole field. This is the whole field.
Pretty much everybody from third or fourth back got some kind of damage and was involved in this massive incident here on the front straightaway.
I'm pretty sure Ryan Newman's going to get a penalty for an unsafe pit exit. Come on, man, just floored it into pit road.
Is there no caution for this again?
It does not appear to be a caution. No
the
caution.
Fans are going
we
nuts.
We are still green in Daytona. We just had virtually every car on the track wreck, and we're green still. Look at Bowman's car.
Yeah, that thing's ready
no
for the
way
dumpsters.
That car can continue.
We got more trouble, boys.
More dirt. What is going on?
We got damaged cars in the way. Daniel Suarez kept his car clean all race. Oh, caution's out. Caution is officially out on the track here in Daytona.
That took pretty long enough.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, something else had to have happened for it to come out, because obviously with the incident already way clear, something else happened on track to maybe cause that incident.
Well, I mean, we had like 5 different things happen in the last like 5 minutes. I don't know what decided to take that long.
We saw Kyle Larson
this
get
race,
turned.
Suddenly, it took an immediate turn. We had Chase Briscoe die in the backstretch bus stop, and then the front straightaway chicane. Almost the entire field gets involved in a wreck.
Truex just murdered the 5 apparently. I don't know what happened there.
Very unfortunate all around, right? I mean, Suarez kept his car clean all race, got taken out right there. I mean, I think his car is going to be in pretty good shape here still, but I mean, what in the world that was?
I wonder, and we haven't heard any radio communication about it yet, but I wonder if there was some kind of oil or some liquid spilled down in that front straightaway chicane, because we saw pretty much everybody go in there and not have control and go over the curb, and obviously we saw the goodness as Harvick jumps the curb like Logano earlier. But as we saw, pretty much everybody have issues, and then obviously Truex spins out Larson, and just in the back, basically the entire pack back there all got involved in some big contact. The drivers are still looking like they're struggling to get through here. So I wonder if there's some kind of fluid down in that chicane.
Yeah, it's really weird. All of a sudden, they're all really struggling as they do race it back to the line we're aware of now, and this could get interesting in itself. No, thank goodness. Alex Bowman still coming around here. Very unfortunate for him. Ryan Newman's been off the pace.
Well, one place is definitely going to be busy, and that's definitely going to be pit road.
Absolutely. A lot of cars collected in that, and we're going to get a replay to you guys right now to see everything that just went down there with a whole bunch of cars, just like the Clash earlier last week. So things kick off right here in the final chicane. Truex, Larson, they come together. Just a weird situation, and everybody behind Cody Ware was hauling into there. And you see the chaos right here. Everybody piling in. Alex Bowman really took an impact. Quinn Alf, William Byron, Ryan Newman, Bubba Wallace, Matt DiBenedetto. The 96 of Ty Dillon involved. The 6 car nearly came across the front of the 21, but that wasn't the reason for the caution. It gets better. You see this big pile of cars right here. It is about to get crazy now as they go into turns 1 and 2. Watch up in front with the 38 of Anthony Alfredo right here. He has a moment. And it just gets crazy. Kyle Larson gets nailed, the 36 around of David Reagan, and that ends up bringing out the caution here. So it wasn't a huge crash. It was just about 3 or 4 car incident that brought out the caution in Daytona. View from Cody Ware on the roof. Didn't even try to make the chicane here. Saw what was happening, bails out, and then this happens. Destroys Daniel Suarez from behind in that 99 car. Very unfortunate for him. And then, of course, you saw the rest of what happened there. But caution out once again here in Daytona, as everybody with the damage is going to have to come back to the pit lane here momentarily. And we're back to the live scene here in Daytona. 10 cars have now DNF'd from this race here. Only 8 cars are clean. which is quite surprising. But we're going to go for a quick break and come back here in just a few moments for the restart in Daytona. Back from Daytona Road Course here, Kevin Harvick, Aric Almirola, Chase Elliott, your top three ready for the restart as the pace car pulls off. Now closing in on the final 15 laps of this race. We've seen a very chaotic race so far here at the road course, and immediately you're going to see Martin Truex Jr. go up the inside trying to make up for that ground that he lost a little bit earlier there. 3 wide though, back here for a moment. Daniel Suarez with some damage, and a bunch of those cars with damage did not come into the pit lane for some odd reason, as they fortunately keep it clean so far, and it looks like they're going to be okay now. But I mean, you see this 19 of Truex up in the 4th there on the restart. But Eddie, look at the 4 car already building up a gap there to the 10 of Aric Almirola.
Yeah, no, it's not building much of a gap though. I mean, the 10 car is there a little bit, probably by maybe 2 car lengths, and then the 9 is slowly but surely closing in on the lead here as he's making up all the time he can on Harvick. But yeah, everything's starting to fan out a little bit back from Truex on back to Blaney a little bit by about maybe 2/10. But other than that, everybody's still staying single file.
Yeah, I mean, Jay, you got to look at everybody pretty much has crashed at some point. Maybe they're going to keep it calm by now, right?
Yeah, you certainly hope so. I mean, there's almost not enough cars left to make a crash at this point, because a lot of these guys are just have a ton of damage and just riding around trying to gain spots on cars that retire, or just hoping that they can have some still competitive speed, but it's probably not going to happen. But one thing that I want to mention, Chase Elliott right now, seeing Martin Truex Jr. behind him and then the 10 and the 4 in front of him, he's probably licking his chops knowing that this is his time to pounce and his time to go. He's got Truex behind him. This guy who is probably his main competitor is, I guess, Reddick, or not Reddick,
Chastain.
I guess Chastain is going to make his own path there through the grass.
And he's going to look
But
for
Chase Elliott
watermelons.
right now knows that the 10 and the 4 are 2 guys that generally are not great at road courses, and he needs to get past them right now while he's got Truex behind him.
You saw a moment, and it gets worse.
Again.
Oh, there we go. Big one.
Suarez. Oh, not again.
Boston do it again. The Dillon brothers were in it.
Oh, Cody. Oh, he hit some.
Cody Ware just. Oh my
The
gosh.
ties
just wreck each other.
Oh,
Oh
I
boy.
was not a
No
fan
caution.
of that. Nope.
No caution.
Yeah. They
No
keep it
caution
green
Let's see if
again.
these guys can keep it green here through the start of the infield.
Who's in control of throwing cautions here? Do we not just see what the hell just happened?
It's really weird. They don't. I remember myself and Jay broadcasting the class. They did not like to call cautions when there was a crash in that certain chicane. Ty Dillon apparently didn't appreciate Austin running into him because he drilled him after the crash had already
Yeah, that next family dinner is not going to be very pleasant.
But they're going. Bubba, he was, I think, involved a little bit there. Larson, he's had a terrible night. Hendrick Motorsports, the only Hendrick car that's even doing anything tonight is Chase Elliott. I believe he's the only one that hasn't crashed. Someone went off track there. Oh, it was Bubba in the 23. Very unfortunate for him. But back towards the front of the pack. Chase Elliott, Eddie, losing a position there to the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. Now drops to 4th.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Truex is starting to hit his stride. I was wondering what happened because it looks like he was 5/10 back. Chase Elliott was from Aric Almirola. I was wondering why it was a little bit of a gap, but there's not really much of a gap. There's more of a gap from about 4th to 5th right now. I don't know if that's from the Daniel Suarez wreck or not. As Cole Custer's about to have a moment here, going in the dirt, as Blaney's gonna probably pounce on it here. But yeah, I don't understand. These guys are really having a lot of trouble here today at the road course for some reason.
Not enjoying it. Some of these guys are, that's for sure. As Harvick under pressure from his Stewart-Haas Racing team and of Aric Almirola could get interesting right here. They keep it clean, but oh boy. Rewind for a moment, and sure enough,
Oh!
That looked like the real life clash right there.
Huge contact in the outside wall. He's got
Oh!
that's certainly
About to kill his teammate.
Blaney.
I think Blaney's engine is certainly blown.
Absolutely, that was a
his
huge
day is
hit.
done after that.
No caution
No
again.
caution.
Very hard contact in the outside wall.
Suarez into the
Daniel
pit
Suarez.
lane.
I think that's the hardest hit we've seen so far today. Blaney
Goodness.
just got thrown into that outside wall.
Yeah,
That looked like the real life clash right there.
Yeah, very heavy hit there for Blaney now as once again, chaos. They have really been struggling to go through there side by side now as we have a quick actual look. We saw that original incident the lap before, but we have a quick look here on board with Ryan Blaney in that final chicane just moments ago. Ryan Blaney pretty much just an innocent bystander right here. You're going to see him out of the chicane get just slammed right here and then boom, huge hit into the wall. And of course, he's looking for an opportunity. He made some contact with Logano. It gets worse for him. He's just trying to get into the pit lane, but he did end up making it there. And after those 2 laps of complete chaos, green flag still remains out here at the Daytona Road Course. Back once again to the live scene here. Now less than 15 laps to go at the Daytona Road Course. That's still quite a lengthy period of time. A lot of time for things to still go wrong here in Daytona. But, I mean, you look at here, Jay, the 9 car is really losing some ground all of a sudden to these front 3.
He's gotten gapped quite bigly by the Bigly. He's gotten okay. Anyways, there's quite a big gap between him and the top 3, which is honestly, I think to all 3 of us surprising to say the least. Obviously, we know Truex has been fast so far, but we would also expect Chase Elliott to be as fast, if not faster. Which so far obviously has not been the case. One thing I'm extremely surprised about is the speed of Almirola. We haven't never seen him really do anything at a road course, and here he is battling with Truex and Harvick for the lead.
I mean, I thought he was about to actually get into it there with his teammate for a second. Now, as these guys are really struggling, and this is not what you like to see here. Okay, they're going to keep it clean. Logano, Stenhouse, okay. But they just have a really weird behavior through this portion of the course. And this is where exactly you look at things like that. The 16-0 go around now. Gralla and Howe for the caution is out.
You gotta be kidding me. For that
Causes the caution.
You know
what is Austin Dillon doing?
I think Austin Dillon might have missed the chicane and slid right through it down towards pit road.
He dropped his silver spoon. He's going to find it.
The NASCAR and their caution calling has been very fascinating, to say the least. And let's not forget, everybody, they have to race it back to the line. So there is still potential for some chaos here with Kevin Harvick.
I believe Suarez, that moment you were looking at him there, I believe Suarez has gotten his damage fixed.
Yeah, no, he's back on track.
That may actually be a pretty big advantage for him if a lot of these other guys pit to take their to fix their damage.
There he goes right there.
That might be a big advantage, Jay. The advantage of trying to make it through the front stretch of chicane, single file again.
Yeah,
let's try to see how this works.
These guys can't go too wide through that chicane. They can barely go just single file through that chicane now. All of a sudden, I don't know what has happened to it, but every single driver almost is just basically throwing themselves over the curb and just not having any kind of grip.
It went from the backstretch chicane being cursed, and now the front stretch chicane.
It's weird because at the beginning of the race they were not really struggling too bad. Do you think, Jay, maybe it's like a combination maybe of just like the tire wear?
That's actually a pretty good point. It's been quite a while since these guys pitted, so it actually could be tire wear. It also could be maybe just changing conditions. Maybe the track has gotten a whole lot warmer since this race started. There's a lot less grip in the track now, maybe, or the fuel issue. I don't think is like a liquid issue being down there. I don't think that's a thing anymore because we've had 2 or 3 cautions since I mentioned that, and obviously there's drivers still having issues. So, oh boy.
I would have been happy with that one.
I'll keep it clean, but
we still have to settle this.
What's wrong with that chicane?
You got the 5 of Kyle Larson leading over Keselowski and Newman, and they got through there really well. Actually, I believe everyone's officially slowing down now, and that's the reason these guys are no longer struggling. But absolute chaos here. Look at that 3-car mangled now here in Daytona. As I could not believe they threw the caution for that little incident there. But once again, caution's out. We're going to go to another break and get back to you guys for the restart again, and what we assume is going to be about 10 laps to go here at the Daytona Road Course. And once again, we are back here from Daytona Road Course. It will be 10 laps to go, which is still plenty of time for stuff to happen, but we've been lucky to see 3 laps at this point consistently or consecutive under green flag conditions now, as we're going to get ready to go for the restart. And we're going to take another attempt at the amp segment here as the pace car pulls off. For the restart here, we're going to crank up the volume of the broadcast for you guys watching and get amped here with 10 laps to go at Daytona Road Course. And they made it a whole lap here at the Daytona Road Course finally now is Harvick under a little bit of pressure there from that 10 of Almirola. But I mean, Jay, you look at last year and Kevin Harvick really struggled at this racetrack, but here he is now trying to back that up with a victory.
Struggled here last year at this racetrack, and he also struggled in the clash in real life at this racetrack. So obviously, I would say this is maybe a little bit, obviously a video game because he hasn't shown to like this track so far. But really good, really good run for him today, and definitely a really good run for Almirola. It's also interesting to see Christopher Bell up there inside the top 10 and Alfredo somehow with that completely destroyed car somehow running eighth. Uh, so I guess I don't know how to explain that one really.
A lot of damage on the back of that front row car. There's you see the 34 McDowell. He's got a bunch of damage as well. The real life Daytona 500 winner, of course. Now, this is going to be interesting to see what Alfredo's able to do here for the rest of this race. But Almirola, Eddie, you notice he's consistently been kind of pressuring that four, and I think if it stays green here, he might have a chance to maybe steal the win away from him.
Yeah, he may have a chance. I mean, he's got to hope for Harvick to make a mistake. I've been noticing Harvick's been making a lot of his mistakes on the front stretch chicane mainly. Almirola's been getting the best of him there, and he's also been getting the best of them going through the S's also on the turns 1 and 2. But slowly but surely, this front three are really starting to pull away from that 9 car. As the 9 car, I don't know what's going on with the 9 car right now. I'm shocked he's not up here battling with these three right now.
Could get interesting right here between the 10 and the 7 or in the 19. Sorry, now is no, they're going to keep it okay, but the 19 pounces on an opportunity there. He's going to make a move up the inside as they all go by. It looks like they all kept it clean, fortunately, here as Martin Truex Jr., as we were just talking about Almirola potentially being in position to attack. Well, he gives up second place. Truex J moves through into second, and we've seen that there's a lot of speed in that 19 car today. Maybe he's in the perfect position here to steal this win.
I don't think there's any way that Harvick holds Truex off. Truex has shown so far that he has the best car. And obviously, we know how good he is at road courses. We've been talking about it all day long, and it's been said, time and time before. So it won't surprise me here if he goes and takes a lead from Harvick and starts to pull away from all these guys here. As it looks like Suarez is certainly making up some good ground since we know obviously he got his damage fixed and he's with a lot of cars that have damage. So it not surprising to see him making up some ground here.
Up to 19th now. He's had a rough day. He had a rough Daytona 500. He came into this race, was running top 10, had some speed, a lot of bad luck, set him back. But here he is, like Jay mentioned, working his way back to the front. As you see through the field, so many cars right now, struggling with a lot of damage here in the Daytona road course. A lot crazier than I think any of us anticipated. But now that we're within the final 10 laps of this race, everyone seems to be kind of calming down a little bit here. But I would not be surprised if we saw at least one more caution here before this thing is over. Now, as you see through the field, the fastest lap has been set by that 19 car, Kevin Harvick. It set the third fastest lap of the 155.5, but Truex clearly the fastest car here, and now he's finally in position to potentially steal this win away here within the final 10 laps of this race. And here's going to be the opportunity right here. It seems like Harvick has really struggled through this final chicane now as he goes into it here. Goes a little bit wide, and there's an opportunity, but Truex can't quite pounce on that. Now, as you saw the 20 go up a little bit there, but I mean, honestly, they're seeming to be calming down now, guys, now as this could get interesting back here a little bit. Nope. Oh, boy, watch out here, though. Bubba Wallace not having the day he was really looking for, but still overall running inside the top 20, I believe, as they come through to cross the line. Daniel Suarez just up in front of him. Actually, Suarez lost a few spots on that lap, Jay. Now down to P23. So I'm not sure if something maybe happened to him there, but we know he's definitely got some decent speed in that 99 Trackhouse car after getting those repairs. Now, as you see at the back, Austin Dillon, a whole bunch of damage on that car. Cody Ware just way off the pace in general as Kevin Harvick continues to lead the way here on lap 33. Is now, I mean, Jay, it seems like he's doing a pretty good job defending here against that 19.
It seems like he's doing a great job at it. And Almirola is all over Truex, so I didn't see that coming at all. I certainly thought that Truex was going to be able to get past Almirola here and go immediately and start attacking Harvick. But it looks like Almirola is going to be the one trying to do a little bit of attacking on Truex here. But another thing that I don't know if we have mentioned yet, and I don't know, we don't really know for a fact, but I'm pretty sure that these guys cannot make it to the end on fuel or tires. So it'll be pretty interesting to see if they can't. It'll be pretty interesting to see when these guys pit, and if somebody like, for say, Truex pits before Harvick does, if he's able to make up some ground and take over the lead based off a pit stop.
Definitely could see an undercut attempt here. I think Truex is in a good position to do that now. As like Jay mentioned, I don't believe they can make it as they pitted really early in this race. But at the same time, we've had a lot of cautions since that first pit stop, so that might help them out a little bit with their fuel saving tactics. But I also, like I said, I don't believe these guys can make it to the end. Now, as they do stay out, Truex right on the back of that four of Harvick. This is his opportunity here to maybe make a move into turns one. Now, as you want to be up that left-hand side.
As the caution is out,
oh,
I see the flagman waving the yellow flag.
Yeah.
Caution once again on the track as the Dillon brothers once again having issues with each other.
Oh, part 3 all over again.
Can't say I saw that coming. Now we immediately have a replay of what just happened. They're both on the pit lane, by the way. There you see Austin
That's
Dillon.
a 34, actually. That's Michael McDowell.
Yeah, all three of them. And we just saw McDowell on the track a few moments ago. So there's those three there. So we're going to get a replay immediately of what just happened. This is going to set up for a very late race restart here in the Daytona road course. We're back in Daytona once again in preparation for a late race restart. Here's why the caution is out. We had 3 different crashes that just happened within a span of seconds. Here's the reason, though, for the yellow flag. Quinn Helf does this right here. This is all you need to see. Yep. He comes back on track, destroys the 96, and then Austin Dillon, a huge hit right there on the front end. And that's going to take them pretty much out of this race here in Daytona, but it does not end there. So Bubba Wallace has a mistake in that final chicane, and so does Ryan Newman as well. Newman hits the wall and actually clips Bubba there, but Bubba didn't really get any damage out of it. But it got even worse just up in front of them by the start-finish line.
So Michael McDowell and DiBenedetto coming into the front stretch chicane. McDowell goes over the turtles, and then Dibby just decides he's gonna dump him, I guess. Turns him in front of Brad K and David Reagan. Unfortunate for Brad and David, and everybody else gets through it without damage. But I guess DiBenedetto decided that he just wanted to turn McDowell after he had an issue. I don't really know what that was all about. Maybe they had some kind of incident happen earlier in this race that we didn't catch. But either way, unfortunate for Brad K and David Reagan to get caught up in somebody else's mess.
So we still have a race, of course, after that mayhem. Back to the line here. And once the caution comes out, it'll be lap 35. I think we're in for, 2 or 3 laps max to determine the race. And no matter what, the next caution after this restart will be the end of the race. So it'll either, of course, be a yellow flag ending us, or we'll somehow make it to the end of this thing now, as Kevin Harvick, of course, wants to be in position to be leading here for what will be, for sure, the final restart of the day.
Hey,
here.
I just want to mention Chase Elliott is not in this picture.
He is way far back in the gap.
Yeah,
he hasn't lost anything, but he's in the gap.
And here they come.
Something slowed those guys up big time, because you can see with the counter there, he was only a second and a half.
Wait a second. 9 cars way off the pace. These guys are full throttle right now. 9 cars just cruising.
Everybody's cruising back here.
Very weird, and yeah, that's overall just weird. I don't know if that was something to do with the programming there. Now
everybody's cruising.
Yeah, that was odd. The front 3 were all going for it. Yeah, these guys are all cruising as well. There's you see David Reagan. He had a rough one. Both front row cars actually having rough days so far. But caution flag is out, and the question is, can they make it to the end of this race here? Jay, I both of us thought there's no way they're making it to the end. But here we are coming up on the final restart, and this very lap right here is going to be their only chance at coming into the pit lane. Do you think anyone's going to come in here other than the crash cars?
I still personally don't believe that they can make it, so I think we'll see everybody come down the pit road here. But if we don't, obviously, I guess these guys, these teams feel that they can make it to the end. Maybe these cautions have proved enough to where they've saved enough fuel and it wasn't really that big of an issue. Or maybe we'll see, like we saw with the Clash, with guys not putting under caution and deciding to do it under green, and somebody like maybe Daniel Suarez, who we know has pitted very recently and can make it to the end. Maybe we see a surprise winner with him if these guys play really bad strategy and wait till the green to pit. And unfortunately, it would be a weird finish, to say the least, if that happens again.
Suarez currently scored in 16th, but now 22nd, all the way to 37th, have retired here in the Daytona Road Course. We're only going to have 21 cars taking the green flag. Bubba Wallace had a very rough day in general. Well, here he is in P20 still. But, I mean, Eddie coming up on the final restart, assuming that we're going to have the 4 and the 19 up there at the front. I mean, who do you got here? I mean, we've seen the 19 showing a lot of speed. He has the fastest lap here today. Do you think he's going to be the one to watch?
I honestly think if Kevin Harvick doesn't make a mistake, he's got this in the bag, to be honest. But if Harvick does make a mistake, then Truex has this well in sight to where he can possibly make a move. But I'm still not counting out the 10 or the 9. But then also mentioning back to when you were talking about the front row guys, Gary, the 38 after all the day he's had with all the damages and all the fixings and everything, he's still in ninth place in the top 10 somehow. I don't know how he's the only car that has damage or has been in the wreck all day that's in the top 10, but I think a good recovery for the rookie.
Yeah, the rookie doing a good job here. And Harvick won the Daytona 500, trying to go back to back here with a track that we really wouldn't expect him to be able to pull the victory off at. But here is the moment of truth as they head into Oval 4 is, are they going to come into the pit lane right here? And we will be getting the 1 to go, which means we'll be going green at lap 37. It's going to be a 3-lap dash, and that makes me a little bit scared to think that we very well might see one more caution to end this race, and we might not get a green flag finish. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. But here we go into the final chicane, and now we're going to see right here, nobody appears to be pitting, at least in the top 10, all the way down through. Nobody. Yep, everybody stays out here. So, Jay, definitely a bit of a surprise.
Certainly a surprise. I don't. I guess maybe their math is different than ours, but they pitted somewhere between lap 10 and 15. So that's 20 something odd laps on these tires, and with the tank of fuel. I don't see how these guys can make it to the end. But saying that, we've ran probably 10 or so laps under caution. So maybe that's the reason why these guys aren't pitting, is just because of the amount of cautions that we've had so far.
Stage 1 was relatively clean compared to what has happened since then. Gonna make a lot of editing for me on the backstage stuff now. But once again, we're gonna go to another break and come back at you for what will be the final restart here at the Daytona Road Course. Back from Daytona for the final restart, coming at you in just a few moments. But quick, Jay, Eddie, we'll start with you, Eddie. I think there's going to be a caution to end this race, or do you think we're going to somehow stay green?
I think we're somehow going to stay here green here, Gary. I think Kevin Harvick and Martin Truex will be able to pull away. The only way I see a caution happening is if we end up going 2 to 3 wide in the backstretch chicane or in the front stretch chicane, either or, whatever chicane happens. But I don't think it's going to happen. I really hope it doesn't, but we'll see what happens here.
What do you think, Jay? We staying green?
No, I don't think we will. I think we'll see these guys be really, really aggressive, probably in the chicanes again, like we've seen all day long, and we'll probably, unfortunately, wind up being under caution. But about to get ready to go green here, as Kevin Harvick is going to hope that he can go back to back here to start out the season.
All I'm saying is Kevin Harvick has had no issues at the Daytona 500 where he won. He has had no issues tonight. That luck is going to run out eventually, and he has 3 laps for that to happen. Here's we're back underway, and Almirola immediately trying to make a move up the left-hand side. Does not quite make it work there, but he's going to still stick his nose up. It's going to be side by side here. Truex is going to back out there, so Almirola to second. Honestly, I think that's Kevin Harvick's dream right there of that happening, because the 19 definitely faster than the 10, faster than the 4 at some time. So now that just plays perfectly in to Kevin Harvick. Eddie, at this point, I think really it's just all about defense for Harvick, making sure he just doesn't make any mistakes here, and I think he's going to be okay.
No mistakes, and just look out in front of his windshield. Don't even look in the rear view at this point. Let Spire do all the talking. I wouldn't even be looking in the rear view if I was Harvick right now.
Not seeing any time gain from the 10 either. I mean, we've seen some drivers just make some silly mistakes here and there, so there's always some potential. We now have barely half the field left in what has been a crazy Daytona road course race. And now as we approach the final 2.5 laps here, we're about to see if Kevin Harvick can hang on as he continues to open up the gap here in that Busch Light number 4 Ford Mustang here. Is Almirola, I mean, second place, Jay, for Eric Almirola at the Daytona road course. For him, a tremendous start to the season.
A huge, huge, huge moment here for Almirola if he can hang on to second. he's a guy who I don't even think himself thinks of a as a great road course racer. So obviously a big deal for him to be up this goodness gracious Kyle Larson as they all keep it green.
Keeps
But
it
it's
good.
a big deal for Almirola, I'm sure, to be in second place right now and hopefully stay in second place. As he's actually gained some time here on Harvick, it looks like. So
Yeah.
maybe he can challenge Harvick here for the win.
Within a few car lengths here as they go into the final chicane, Harvick gets through there a little rough, but Almirola also got through there a little rough, so about the same gap now as we want to make sure this is the big thing right here. If they crash, this race is over. That's what you want to keep in mind. Now, they keep it clean. The green light's still on as Harvick leads the way into turns 1 by Eric Almirola. Kind of surprising me here, Eddie. Here he is with 2 laps to go, closing the gap to the back of the 4.
Yeah, closing the gap surely but slowly, but well, slowly but surely. But I think he honestly needs to just hope Harvick makes a mistake here. As he's gonna send it in here into the inner part of the track, hoping that Harvick will make a mistake, even though it's something that Harvick has rarely done today. But Almirola just needs to hope and pray that Harvick just makes a mistake. He'll be able to pounce on it.
And I was mentioning there at the restart, Harvick's done something that we've really seen from nobody, and he's just had at the Daytona 500 no mistakes. He never got caught up in anything, and the exact same thing here today at the Daytona Road Course. Now is we've seen absolutely no mishaps for this number 4 team, and it's playing a big role into this, of course, now as he leads the way with just over a lap and a half to go. He kind of pulled away a little bit there from the 10 in the infield, so Almirola gonna have to make up a bunch of time here as they come through into oval turns 2. But it's going to be interesting here. We've seen him make up a lot of time on that 4 in the last half of this course, and as we approach that final lap going down towards this bus stop, going to be a huge corner right here. See if Harvick can get through there better. The 10 appears to close up a little bit there to the back of the 4, but not quite enough as we look at everybody else coming through. Everyone seems to be getting through here pretty clean. Yes, they do. So it should stay green at this point till the end of the race now as we come through towards this final chicane. This is going to be huge here, isn't it, Jay? I mean, if Almirola is not close enough after the chicane, you can pretty much write him off.
I wouldn't say that. Almirola has been catching quite a bit on the speedway section here. As Truex might be looking to make a move there. He's going to hold off for now. As I'm quite surprised to actually see Truex cut back up to Almirola.
White flag.
But Truex making this move here on Almirola, we've all seen, this outside line going in these first couple of corners. It's not going to hold together. So Truex is going to move into second place, and maybe he can make something put something together here and go after Harvick. Oh, as he almost hits that inside wall, but I don't think Truex has a chance of doing anything here with just a little over 3/4 of this lap to go. So I think Harvick's got this race in the bag.
Gonna need a mistake for sure from the 4. Truex aggressive there on the 10, makes it work. Elliott up there in the 4 trying to put some pressure on the back, but Truex either gonna have to put an incredible lap down or hope for a mistake here from the 4 of Kevin Harvick here as we have just over half a lap to go right now. Anthony Alfredo actually rounding out the top 10. No, he's actually down to 11th. Matt DiBenedetto has moved up into that 10th spot now as we come through into the oval portion of the track. Martin Truex Jr. isn't too far back, and Eddie, this bus stop's going to really decide everything.
This is the make or break moment for Martin Truex and Kevin Harvick right here. Martin Truex needs Harvick to make a mistake right here or on the front stretch chicane to be big enough to where Martin can just pounce on the mistake. He needs to hope that the 4 car of Kevin Harvick, who has rarely made a mistake all day, to make the biggest mistake of the race in all day.
Through the bus stop chicane, Harvick, unfortunately for Truex, gets through there with minimal issues. Wasn't perfect, and that does allow the 19 to close up just a little bit, but it's still going to require quite the mistake here in the final chicane from Kevin Harvick to give Martin Truex Jr. the opportunity to win this race. You see, though, the 19, he did definitely close up some ground there, but as we go down into the final chicane, the make or break moment, now the 19 closes in, but it doesn't appear to be enough. No, it will not. Kevin Harvick out of the final chicane wins the Daytona 500 and comes through to hold off Martin Truex Jr. for 2 wins in a row here to start off the 2021 season as the rest of the field comes through to the line. The 41, the right side of that car, caved in as they come through to cross the line. Matt DiBenedetto will round out the top 10 here in the Daytona road course just in front of Anthony Alfredo. So a wild race it was here, but fortunately, at least, guys, we got a clean end to it here in Daytona with Kevin Harvick coming on top of everybody here with the victory now as Cody Ware finally comes through to cross the line. So race over. We saw a lot of DNFs 22nd all the way through 37th, all out of this race. Very unfortunate for those drivers. But guys, I mean, overall, Jay, I mean, we thought it was going to be a little bit more calm compared to the Busch Clash last week, but clearly we were way off about that.
Very, very, very wrong about that. I would say this race was more chaotic than the Clash, a lot more chaotic in my opinion than the Clash. Obviously, with the Clash, we had all the pit road stuff towards the end, which made that race even more interesting. But not much strategy involved in this race. Just a whole lot of crashing and a whole lot of mistakes and a whole lot of caution laps. So our theory about these guys not being able to make it to the end obviously was very wrong. And I'm going to guess the only reason that happened was because it's the multiple, multiple, multiple amounts of caution laps they were running. So it was an entertaining race. It was an interesting race, and certainly we get Cody Ware finishing in 21st. That's how you know that basically everybody behind him, or we had a lot of DNFs when he's almost in the top 20.
Yeah, what is the last car
So
running?
unfortunate for, yeah, exactly. So that's how you know that we had a lot of DNFs when he's finishing 21st, and a little bit unfortunate for Alfredo to lose that top 10, but he still finishes 11th, which I think considering with how much damage he had, that's a great day for him. And obviously, I see you're pointing at Suarez. There's Suarez getting a great rebound as well after he fixes damage.
I was also surprised about the fact that they made it to the end. Kyle Busch down in last, crashed on lap one, um, crashed or got into something, I can't remember what it was, but he had another moment, and then he of course finished himself off in the bus stop when he went off track, tried to go side by side
Did
and
these
ended his
guys
day.
wreck
I don't
coming
believe
back
so.
to the pits?
I don't believe so. I think that is just the effect of the race being over. I hope. I really do hope.
Yeah, really do hope so.
Chaotic overall. Yeah, I mean, Eddie, I wasn't expecting it. I'm sure you weren't either.
No, I have no idea what the hell I just watched. To be honest with you, I mean, it was just chaos. It's just real chaos. I mean, I don't know what these guys were thinking. To be honest, I mean, the way they were fitting in 2 wide, 3 wide into some of the chicanes, even though they knew it wouldn't work, and they still tried it. And I mean, we saw the end result today. I mean, it's a lot of cars wrecked, and a lot of good cars wrecked, to be honest. But yeah, just not what we expected at all.
Yeah, I mean, a rough one now is at the end of this episode, I will post the updated points and whatnot. I look at a guy like Alex Bowman, had a rough Daytona 500, had a rough day here today. Some big names with some rough days. Kyle Larson still, I mean, got a top 15 out of it. Denny Hamlin with a solid day overall of P5. But yeah, I mean, that will do it for today's broadcast. As I can see in the distance, it appears the 42 of Ross Chastain has thrown his car into reverse. And is having a bit of a mishap over there. Not quite sure what to think about Ross Chastain's current on-track behaviors. He's actually throwing it into reverse again, and so is Anthony Alfredo.
So is Alfredo.
So we're gonna just let them do their thing.
What the hell is going on?
It's a celebration of this race being over, I think.
Celebration of what?
That pretty much just tells us exactly what this race was right here. Look at
Ross Chastain still trying to find his
it's gone.
watermelons?
Oh, he's gone.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that was the race right there. And as always, if you guys enjoyed, you do know what to do. It's going to be quite a bit of editing for myself. It's going to be an interesting one to watch. I hope you guys do enjoy it. In the next week, we go to Homestead, Miami, I believe it is. So our first look at this kind of truck series physics handling thing on these cup cars at 1.5 miles. So it's going to be really interesting. I'm going to, of course, get a modern Homestead Miami mod downloaded for next week, and we will see you guys then for Homestead Miami. So thank you everybody for taking the time out of their day to watch, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.